Hey guys, it's your boy Nabi Rubber Bands back with another video, and today I'm joined with.
The Lolly Slayer himself, Anime Rage. What's up, y'all?
What's good, y'all? Today we're gonna get into part two. So like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll share the video. Go check out his channel as well. It'll be in a link in the description below. And yeah. Oh, Rainier, you're back, huh? As she's like, yeah, the job is done, sir. As he says, really? That quick? Yeah, it was pretty light work. It wasn't really much, As he shot, he thought it would be more of a fight than, just a clean washing like that. As he's like, huh, his age must have really got to him. He should have became him. Oh, he must have got really soft over time, getting lazy, living life. Well, that's what happens when you slack too much. As he laughs maniacally, as he says, good. With another 10 years from now, we're going after a special person. As her eyes raise up, who is it? Ah, the Red Emperor reincarnation. As she's like for real? He's like, yeah, we need that type of power on our side, and I don't want it to fall in any other faction hands. So hone your skills until that day. As she kneels, as she's like, she starts to lick her lips. She's saying, I can't wait to torment him. As she leaves the room, as Rainer, Cocoville sits down on his throne, and he's like, everything is falling into plan. This is exactly how I want it. Who knows? This might be even easier than I thought. As he sits back, and we cut to a little girl wandering the streets by herself. As I pass that to you, bro.
Alrighty. So I'm wandering alone by myself, right? As hadn't fist fight a few people to get some food, just in the fact that I just have no money. Once I have no money, it kind of leads people to do desperate things, at desperate measures, just to keep living. That's fist fighting people out there eating food, stealing from food ventures, just fist fighting animals for their food. Just wherever it takes to survive, essentially. And for the most part, it's been doing pretty well until one day where it just did nothing but a bad luck. Where I am starving more than usual, as I see that it's the same cart as usual. I even set up my whole schedule for it, same routine and always. But here's what I didn't notice: me setting up a routine for every time I would go get it means he can always anticipate when I'm about to do it. So with me grabbing the roll as I'm running with it, he not only catches me, he's now chasing me down the entire street corner block, shouting, "Thief! She took my bread. You have to pay for that." As I'm running with it, as I'm like, this dude was like now like shooting at me. I'm like, wow, he really wants me dead for taking his bread. I'm like, it's not that serious. It's just a loaf of bread. But he's not listening. He's still shooting. As I'm dodging and going around. As me just running so hard, I'm not even looking right in front of me anymore. And as I'm running, I like smack into like another person. And then as I did that, I'm like, "Ow, watch where you." As I look up, as I see three people, well, three individuals, two adults and one kid, relative to my age, if not like a year or two old. As the woman is now looking at me and asking me like, Are you okay and everything? As before I can even say anything, the guy and a whole bunch of like guards is just shouting, "Thief!" Like this is the last time you're gonna steal from me, and I'll make sure of it for a good. Come on, he has a blade in his hand, about to like trying to cut me down.
Mm-hmm.
As when he tries to do it, the dude gets in front of me and like grabs the blade with his bare hands and just breaks it. And then he's like, "Wait, what the? Who are you?" Until before he could say anything, he realizes just who he's like messing with.
Mm.
Until he's like, I'm so sorry." As, all of them just get down, kneel on one knee,
Mm.
one of the great kings. And I'll let you carry that part.
How dare you raise a blade to a young, innocent girl? All she wanted was a piece of bread. And me, looking at her, she looked like she really needs it. But you didn't have to use lethal force for this child. As he's like, I'm sorry about that. I didn't. Excuses, excuses. Men pack him up as he says, if anybody does a stunt like this again, there'll be consequences. Come on now. Let's get on with our business. As everybody, nods their head and gets the heck out of there. Whew, crisis avoided, says the king, aka my dad. Because he was glad I wasn't really focusing on what was going on. Man would have been, let's say, really in really deep shit. As I'm playing on my PSP, and I'm like, mom, where we going now? As she's like, oh, your dad just, where your dad go? Because they don't know, because we kept on walking. As he's like, I'm like, dad is probably down the block around the corner. I can sense his presence. As he's like, oh, she's like, oh, really? So let's go meet up with him. I'm like, all right, whatever, As we walk back, and I'm like, why been such a big crowd going on? What happened over here? Uh, freaking, things got a little buck wild. As I'm like, who's that? As he's like, well, this why it got buck wild. Apparently, she took a piece of bread from one of the merchants. As I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, hey, what's your name? Uh,
Monica.
oh, you're quiet. As I'm like, she's cool with me. As I'm like, hey, where's your? I'm like, where your folks is because I'm just curious because kids should never be left alone. Kind of sensitive question for you, as I pick up on that, right? Because keep in mind, guys, I'm a lot mature for my age. Just let you guys know that now. Um, anyway, that's like a PSI, so just PSA, my bad. um, so I'm like, I guess we should get going then, right? As the king is like, because he's like he sees your condition, right? So he's like, come along with us, right? As you like, really? Like, he's like, yeah, it's not a problem. You look like you need some new clothes and some place to stay. And tell you what, you work for me, and we make sure you good. As she, your eyes wide open, like, really? As we like, yeah, come on. As I snap my finger, and like, cause there's magic in the verse, so I essentially summon a carriage, like a carriage, like what nice horses, named Invincible. As I'm like, yeah, let's go. As we all get into the carriage, as I pass it back to you, bro.
Alrighty. So we're in the carriage going far away from even the places even I'm used to going to. This is like a whole different neighborhood. a whole different block, just a whole new everything, right? So me just being any like middle class kid seeing what upper class looks like, of course you're just gonna be mesmerized by damn near everything. Just how well put together the environment is, and how just everything seems like it just falls right into a place. As your dad says, like admiring the scenery I see. I'm like, yeah, it's a very different from home. So how far is it? He's like, just a few more miles. But like I said, I asked you before, like, what happened to your parents if you have any? As I'm quiet for like a few seconds, right?
Mm.
Until I say, I just finally decided to say, they're dead. As that just instantly cuts the attention, either from you, the dad, the wife, and even the carriage rider,
Mm.
which kind of left the place kind of in an eerie, awkward silence for like 5 minutes
Mm.
until you just decide to break the silence. And I'll carry it back to you.
As I'm like, damn, that's rough. In my head, right? As I say, hey, we almost there. As I break the silence to get rid of the awkwardness. Is yeah. So I'm like, look, that's our house right there. As you look at it, and you're like, oh my god, that's a house. That looks like a castle. You know. I'm like, yep, it's my home. As we go through the gate, right? As we get out the carriage, as you see a whole bunch of maidens, and you see a whole bunch of maids lined up with a red robe leading into the castle. As we get out the carriage and head out, as like my king, my queen, how you doing, Kioya? I'm like, I'm doing great. How about y'all? We doing fine, my lord. As I'm like, good. Come on. As you're just mesmerized. Like you think this is like a fantasy. You're like, oh my god, what's going on here? You know. As I'm like, make sure she gets the finest things that we have to offer in the house. As they said, immediately, sir. As they, grab you and take you inside, right? And I said I'm gonna go train some more. As my mom and dad is like, huh, I figures, and they head inside while I go towards the training room. As I'm like, I felt weird energy coming off her body. Some shady figures must be targeting her as well. Gotta keep my guard up. As I say, rip and tear and blast. As I start destroying my dummies that I'm testing on. As I pass it back to you.
Alrighty. So I'm with a few mates, right? As they like take me to like this room. As I'm just still again mesmerized just by how huge this place generally is. Like it feels almost weird, or well, weird in a good way, not in a bad way, for a house to have just massive spacing everywhere. And so, with me being there, my clothes they're kind of either practically tattered or just in. And so, one of the maids are like, "Well, for you to be the well, I guess the adopted princess, this is no way a princess should look." As I'm like, "What are you talking about?" As they we just take my clothes and start giving me a bath and just kind of freshen me up.
Mm-hmm.
And then after they get through all of that, after they have to actually fight with me because I didn't want to wear a dress because, well,
right,
I just didn't want to. So they finally managed to put me in a dress after like 5 to 10 minutes of just straight me trying to stop them from putting it on me.
Mm.
And I'm like, I've never felt more uncomfortable in an outfit my entire life. As to like, quit being big, babe. You look good. And I'm just looking myself in the mirror, and I'm just like, if I would mess up this makeup on purpose. And then when I try to like dig in my nose, when the maid smacked me in my hand with a ruler, she's like, ladies, don't do that. I'm like, oh really? As I just kick her extremely hard in the shin and run away. She's like, get her. As now the other maids are now like chasing me around the house. And so as I'm running around, I'm actually getting somewhat look at the scenery, while at the same time getting extremely lost because I've never been in this place before.
Right.
And so with me making it somehow in the basement part of the house, I only thought the basement part goes to the lowest part of the house, but no, this is just like the mid section of the house. Or at least that's what I'm thinking. So I'm down here because I'm looking around like, what is this place? And before I can get too accustomed to my like surroundings, I feel something grab me by my hand, like doing me in like this emotion.
Mm.
And me thinking it's the maid, I just turn around and just knee them really hard in the stomach.
Mm.
As I turn around and see it's you.
Yeah.
Like, that was a nice knee.
Yeah.
As I'm immediately like, I'm so sorry because I hit the king's son.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, please don't kill me. I don't want to get executed. I'm like crying and stuff.
Right.
They're just like, chill. I'm not that kind of prince. I'm not a douche to people, especially the people who isn't as well. Let's say not as fortunate as me.
Hmm.
As I'm like, oh really? That's good to know. As I'm like, calm it down.
Right.
As I like stand up.
Right.
As you like, well, you look very well. Not to say what you were wearing before was bad, but you definitely look different now. From what the mates are saying, you're definitely quite of a handful. But that's not going to be a problem around here. Plus, it was getting a little bored. I was getting a bit bored being the only child, so it'd be cool to have an extra person around that can actually relate to my problems in some kind of way. What he means by that, I mean, he's equivalent to his age. It's like Jaden Smith talking to other kids about economics and shit.
Yeah.
Like, clearly, he's not talking about things kids would be talking
about. Yeah, that's my character, yeah.
I'm just like, oh my God, you feel like this information that I did not ask to know.
Right. Anyway, not to bring your head off or anything, but have you came across anybody with mysterious powers? As you kind of look at me like how like cause you're mind boggling. Like how did he pick up on that? Right? Figures. You must have really had a bad run in with those fallen angels, I per se. As you're like, what the hell? Huh? You wondering why I know this? It's because I can sense the energy that they left on you. As you like, so are you working with them? You're on guard now. So I'm like, nah, they are beneath me. If anything, I want to exterminate them. As that makes your eyes wide. You like, wait, what? You want to kill them? You want to kill them? And I'm like, yeah, I can tell when I see an Avenger. Tell you what, won't you come up here and train with me? Let's get stronger together. As you're kind of shocked. Because, to be honest, as I start to leak out my aura, and since you've been introduced to that type of stuff already, when you sense my aura, it's like you can feel evil, but also angelic. As you like, what are you? You know? Huh, I really don't know myself. All I know, I've been born with this incredible power that my parents try to keep a secret. But unfortunately, I happened ran into the same situation like you. Me being such a big figure that I am brings a lot of unwanted attention. And she's like, I figure. I mean, you live in a castle. You're a prince, so things like that will happen. So I'm like, yeah, but don't worry. I got your back. Nothing like that will ever happen to you again. As I give you a hug, and I'll give you a hug, and I say, you don't have to go through that again. I will exterminate any threat that comes your way, right? As you like thank you, as I'm like, so let's head to training. Should be up here to the left. This is the room. As when you walk in the room, you're like, holy shit. As I'm passing back to you, bro.
Alrighty. So I'm walking around and seeing this room, and just by default, the room itself is just emitting aura by default. By default. And when I'm sensing it, I'm like, wow. And then when I sense it, and when I sense you, I can definitely tell it's specifically home to be meant for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, same thing with you. Like, sure, there's goodness in you, but at the same time, there's a decent amount of malice. So we're kind of confused given your demeanor as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Given how you talk to people, how you act, people might think you're the coolest dude in the world. But,
right.
But when they actually go out there with the sense your magical potential, while at the same time you see him helping a lot of people, but at the same time you see bridges burning due to his demonic nature, which will lead to a lot of confusion with people when they actually sense his power.
Yep.
Kind of similar to Karin sensing Naruto. Even though he's such a good person, she can sense just as good as he is a person. She can sense just as amount of malice that's matching with that goodness, which actually confused her and even scared her to a certain bit, just given how nice he actually is and how much demonic energy she can sense off it. So that's essentially the kind of situation I'm in currently. And so when I'm looking at these weights, and I can see that not only they have magical seals on them, and I ask what exactly are these seals for, because this is my first time actually being encountered with magic, since I don't really know the language of magic. So I'll let you carry that.
These are seals. Essentially, to make sure nobody else gets hurt by picking them up. Because if I don't balance them right, well, let's just say somebody existence could get wiped away. As you make a gag face, I'm just kidding. It's just essentially make sure the amount of weight is not too absurd so it doesn't sink through the castle. As you wait, are you for real? I'm like, yeah. Let's start off. I'm reaching magical power. Interesting. Really interesting. Huh. Now I see why those angels came after you as you raise your eyebrows. As I'm like, you got quite the intense power within your soul. But we need to get it to cut loose. It's dormant. As you really my power I have powers, for real, yeah, nobody told you that? No, my parents never really said anything about that. So I'm like, interesting. Well, try these weights out for size. As I pass you the weights, right? And I make sure to start off around 80 pounds, just because I don't know how much you can really lift. At least with 80, if you struggle with 80, that's something that's not going to hurt you, right? It's going to be heavy, but it's not going to hurt you. So I pass you the weight. You kind of catch it. Is that good for you? As you this is nothing. What do you? And I've been through tougher things than this. And I'm like, is that so? I add another 50 pounds to it as you're still, lifting it up. Huh. Okay. What about 100 pounds? 100 pounds more. As that's when like you're like, okay, please chill. I'm like, well, when that becomes normal to you, we move up from there. But I'm curious, by the way. You asked me a question. How much can you lift, given who you are and your energy? I'm pretty sure you can lift a lot. As I walk over, and you see this massive. I mean, when I mean massive weight, I'm talking about like Zorro weight, guys. Like that's how much I can lift. As your eyes pop out your socket, as I begin to train, them things must weigh 100 tons. How are you doing something like that? You're just a kid, like me. As I'm like, I've been doing this for quite a while. As you like, yeah, right. As I pass it back to you, bro.
And so I'm like, ain't no way a kid relative to my age is lifting 100 times more than what I'm lifting
Mm-hmm.
and calling it normal. And you're like, well, if you put it that way, yes, I guess it would sound pretty out there.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. I have been training way longer than you. Even though we might feel like the same age, I have started my training much, much earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
So my body is naturally accustomed to the amount of weights I lift. And given these gravity seals, they gradually go up the more I keep training. Until I reach a point to where I just can't move no more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wow, that's quite a serious stuff. He's like, yeah, I do whatever it takes to keep my family safe. Ever since those fallen angels have tried to attack my family to try to get me under their ranks, ever since then, I have just despised them. Because one, he didn't even try to ask me. Well, they did, but I said no. But I guess to them, no, it's not no. So they try to take me by force. And by force, they try to use my family as a bribing tool, which led to my powers somewhat awakening and me putting them in their place, you say of this. As I'm like, wow, so you really don't like fallen angels? You're like, yeah. What's that like? They bully every other faction and act like they're entitled to every. Well, sure, some might say I'm privileged, but I still work to get to where I'm at. I'm not gifted these abilities, even though, you really are, but you don't know that.
Yeah.
But I still have to work to get to them. So the fact that they are given so much magical potential, a bit more than a demon off rip, but just more than usual. And plus, there are people who have fallen from grace and try to bring themselves back to the top. Something that is literally unattainable to them. But hey, you gotta admire something about them. They will not stop. Even if you decimate half an army of them, they will keep coming after you. I appreciate their tenacity, but I don't know whether they'll call them stubborn or just straight up stupid. But hey, ever since they attacked my family, I have been showing no mercy to them today. I want to keep that way. I want to keep my family safe. Just like giving with you, you want to redeem your family by killing them too. I can see in your eyes the look of a fighter, definitely. Because I'm like, wow, okay, well, when do we meet again? As you say now, as you like throw a punch at me,
Right.
which I dodge it, but it's like that punch came at me like moderately quickly, which I can tell you're holding back, which fair,
Yeah.
since it's my genuine time getting into an actual fight. Well,
Right.
fight to where I have to fight back rather than run away.
Right.
As you immediately say, running won't do you any good. You can't escape nowhere because you're in my castle. I know these rules better than anyone. Because I'm like, this is going to be a long day.
Mm-hmm.
So, cut to a few hours. I'm on the ground. breathing extremely heavy, as you haven't even broke a sweat. You just like, alrighty, that should be enough for now.
Right.
You should head into the shower rooms. I'll keep working on my studies in my room as you just leave. As I just have to pick myself up literally. As I'm like, oh my god, that kid is a monster. And I'm supposed to be doing this for as long as I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, at least the bright side is I'm getting that training. As I finally get up, as I finally make it to the shower room after just my back in so much pain.
Yeah.
So when I finally make it in, I'm like, it's like after you just had like a very intense workout and everything just hurts.
Uh-huh.
Really, everything just hurts. Like your feet hurt, your legs hurt, your thighs hurt, your arms hurt, everything hurts. And so I'm in there as the water starts glowing green. Because I'm like, what is happening? As one of the maids come in, and she says, "Oh, this is the rejuvenating pool of youth." I'm like, what? Yes, sure, it is a bath, but it's really a regeneration tank for working out. As you can see, Master Killer has been here quite often since how often he works out. Well, he went easy on you. When he works out, he doesn't stop till he passes out. So you can kind of guess how often he is pushing himself. As I'm like, wow. Like, me hearing that just might deter some people, but that's just motivating me to keep going even harder. So I'll pass it back to you.